What's good, y'all? Welcome to my review for this week's episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Diamond is Unbreakable. This episode was fucking phenomenal, y'all. Like always, I love JoJo. The humor was amazing. Rohan, man. But I gotta say, am I the only one that has noticed that the more we've seen Rohan, the less clothes he's wearing? Because, last time he was rocking a crop top. Here, he's wearing even less clothing. Kira's involvement, and I think I kind of understand why all the fingernails were with how we saw Kira in this episode, which I'll talk more about that when we get to that part in the episode, but yeah. Love this episode like always, so without further ado, let's get into it. So, we start the episode off, we got Kira's dad, he's looking around, finding the next target, so then we see this dude with pointy ears and has like a nose ring that's connected to his ear, like, I don't know, some weird shit that you've probably seen from the Egyptians. It's like some ancient Egypt movie you've probably seen. That guy so he's like, oh, the arrow picks him, okay, throws it at him like a spear, and actually ends up deflecting off him. Now, granted, his neck starts bleeding a little bit, but it doesn't go straight up pierce through when he gets to stand. No. It's pretty much just deflected and just left like a scratch. It's like, what? I'm positive that the spear picked him, but it has been deflected. So he goes on his way, and then we get to the new OP. Now, at first, I was like, what the fuck is this? Because this OP is so vastly different from all the other OPs in JoJo. I'm like, what the hell? What's with this Toad shit? Why is it so different? I swear, man, JoJo, man. I was legit dumbfounded by this one. I'm like, wait, what the hell? Why is it so... I mean, I like the song. At first, I was kind of like... when I first saw the episode, I was kind of iffy about it, but when I went back and rewatched it a couple extra times, more specifically the OP, I really did the OP. Is it my favorite JoJo OP? I don't think I would go that far, but this is definitely a really catchy OP. Break down! I like a shot when Kira puts his hand up, and then right before we get to the title, he brings his finger down, and of course the top comes with this. There's a lot of interesting stuff in this OP that I'm really interested. I did like the shot when everyone points up and they point and they go to heaven. You can see Shigechi and Cinderella. I thought that was actually a nice little touch there, man. But one thing that has been piqued my interest the most is the shots with Kira and the woman. I don't think we've gotten her name yet. I don't think so. I could be wrong on that one. I might be misremembering a little bit, but I don't think we've gotten her name yet. And she looked at the TV, we split apart, and we just get a continuous shot of her looking into Kira, and Kira's holding the cat. We then get to a shot of the kid just sitting there alone on the dinner table, and we see him on his way to school. Still shot of him on his way to school, looking very depressed. And then we see Deadly Queen. His hands start to go over the kid and kind of pulls his hat down a little bit, or just kind of puts his hat down, which definitely makes it curious. I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of this arc, or by the end of this little section before Kira is back to being the full villain, and we get on from there. I think Kira's most likely going to kill this family. He's going to probably kill the woman. He's probably kill the wife, and he's probably also going to kill the kid as well. Judging from that shot in the OP with Deadly Queen coming towards him, I have a feeling that the kid's probably gonna die. That's my little theory I got there, that most likely the kid's probably gonna die. Although I wouldn't be surprised if they end up surviving by some miracle. But I have a feeling that Kira's probably gonna end up killing them both. At the very least, I kind of have a feeling that he's gonna kill the kid. Probably the kid. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that. Anyway, so after that, we get to Jotaro. He's with another guy from the Speedwagon Foundation. He's like, all the intel we have on Kira is in that Emily. He's like, damn it, Kira, what is your new identity, and who are you hiding as? And he's like, okay, and then we learn that it's actually kind of we're in July 1st, I believe was the exact date, and that we're actually in Taurus season here in Moria, which means tons of women, tons of attractive women, which means Kira is most likely going to have to end up killing again, because there's no way in hell he can subvert his urges for that long, keep them down for that one. Most likely he's going to come back up, or he's going to come and kill one of these women. And I'm right there. I think Kira's going to end up killing someone, whether it's the wife or just some random woman he finds off the street while he's outside. We'll have to wait and see, but I have a feeling Kira will kill again relatively soon. So after that, and so the radio talks about, oh, it's summertime in Morio. Let's get down and let's party, everything. It then transitions to night. We head over to our boy Yoshikage Kira, and he's looking at the window, kind of biting at his nails as 3 rather attractive women go walking, minding their ways. He's like, our lives we must always hold our deepest, darkest desires and fears and ambitions, but to hold it all to yourself for all eternity, this is pure torture. I want to show her the true Yoshikage Kira, as I wring her tender neck and suck the life out of her. He makes it sound, this is how I want to show her a romantic evening, by strangling her and bringing, he made it sound, yes, this is how I would spend a romantic evening. Yeah, here he is saying, he says it kind of like it's a romantic evening, and how he wants to take a woman on a romantic evening, but instead he's just like, oh yeah, I want to kill this woman, I want to strangle her. And so then the wife shows up, and he's like, oh no, before that he's like, I gotta keep going, I have to do something until the desire subsides. And you can slowly start seeing his nails grow bigger and bigger. So what I think that means is the larger his nails grow, the deeper his desire to kill grows. So say if his inches grew like 5 inches, his desire to kill is 5 times greater. 10 times greater if it's 10 inches, 14 inches if it's 2 feet, if it's like 14 inches when it's 14, etc., etc., etc. That is what I'm assuming that's actually what the nails represent, because you remember, because I was kind of lost when I first saw the nails and how they were, and I was like, wait, what the hell? But now as you see that we actually see them grow as the desire to kill grows, I think I kind of get why these things actually are what they're meant to do. Excuse me. Anyway, so then the wife shows up carrying a little tray with some tea on. She's like, oh, what you doing there, honey? Oh, no. While he's trying to make sure the desire subsides, he ends up working on a signature. I'm assuming he's trying to emulate, and because he also brings a magnifying glass too. I'm assuming he's trying to emulate the signature of the guy's life that he is now taking over. I think he's trying to emulate his handwriting style as well as his just signature. I think because he does bring out a magnifying glass to make sure. I guess it looks perfect. I think. So then the wife shows up. When she does, he puts a book over the little thing he has there where he's been working on the signature. Just kind of puts it over there. And she's like, "Oh, what are you doing there, honey?" And we see that and she's like, "Oh, I should just use my eyes. You're reading a book," and she has this blush on her. She's constantly blushing throughout this whole section right here. I always see her, and you would never tell, because remember 2 weeks ago when we saw her and he stole the money, and she's like, I think I might fall in love with you. You could tell how much more life is in her. Just compare her how she is in the OP other week's episode to how she is here. Remember how dead and lifeless she looks over there? She just doesn't really care. Look at her hair. Look at the way she just carries herself with how she has her hair. Now look at her in this episode. Her hair is kind of looking good. She's brimming with life and energy. She's ready to get down and dirty any second now, probably, if Kira really wanted to, and she'd probably have the time of her life, And so she, after that, she's like, oh, blah, and then she sits, and then when Kira, and Jill says, oh, you don't have to take it if you don't want it, she kind of stops for a minute when Kira grabs a cup and drinks it a little bit. She's like, huh, and then she sits on the bed, kind of just sits there for a couple seconds, and she checks her watch. It's like, oh, look at the time. It's time to hit the hay. And I don't know if she was trying to. I don't think she was trying to be seductive here. But oh my God, was I like, oh no, you're gonna die today, because the look on Kira's face when she starts undressing. First, she takes off her leggings. First, she takes out that. You can see Kira, and she's like, shit. It's like his desires are growing as he turns over in his chair. His little computer turns to look at her. She takes off her stuff, because we don't get to see nothing, of course, obviously. We don't get no ass shots, no nothing, unfortunately. Because Goddamn Production ain't the biggest fans of do fan service, I guess. Or Rocky, I should say. So she takes off her stockings. Kira then kind of sits, then she puts her hair, she lets her hair down, then she puts it over her ears. And Kira just kind of sits, just kind of stands there, looking at her. And she's like, do it. Show her the true Yoshikage Kira. As she's kind of maneuvering with the buttons on the back of her dress to take it off, he slowly brings his hands over to her neck. Then his nails grow even larger. Deadly Queen is behind him. And so then once he gets right down, once it gets to her, they're about to start strangling her, he ends up actually just ripping her dress off instead. Buns are flying everywhere. She's like, ah! Screams. She's on the phone. She's holding her dress up a little. She's holding her dress up to, but you can still kind of see a little bit of her bra if you look a little close. If you look pretty good, if you look closely. If I remember correctly, it was red. Don't know why I brought out that extra little detail, but whatever. And she's like, and he's like, shit, I shouldn't bare my soul to her just yet. At this point, they're gonna guess. They're probably gonna tell I'm not. They're gonna find me. It's gonna blow my cover. She's like, honey, wait. And he's like, sorry for the scare. My apologies. Please forgive me. And he kind of just like walks away and sits back in his chair. And she's like, wait, was he trying to unbutton my dress just now? No, honey, you don't have to apologize for anything. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think I've fallen in love with you. And unfortunately, that was the end of Kira's involvement in this week's episode of JoJo, which sucked, because, man, I want Kira to be the main focus again so badly, because Kira's so fucking cool. I love Kira, man. I can't get enough of Kira. Anyway. Oh, man. So, after that, we get back to Josuke, which this is a predominant. This is what the whole rest of the episode focuses on. Josuke and Okuyasu, they're walking down the street. Then Okuyasu sees this crop circle. And then Josuke looks like, holy shit, that's a crop circle. And then they go to investigate. They find this dude landing, the same guy we saw earlier. The same guy we saw earlier on in the episode, when Kira's dad tried to add him as the 6th stand user for his arm. So I guess there's 5 stand users he's already gotten sometime off screen. So I wonder if those next 5 stand users we're probably going to see at all before. I wouldn't be surprised those last 5 guys, like the 5 guys we see in like the last maybe 5 episodes or so, before Kira goes back to being the main focus again, which I hope to God he does. I hope it's quickly, because I want to get back to my man Kira being the main focus. I love Kira, man. He's so good, man. Anyway. So they investigate. They find the dude there. They notice his blood. The cut's still there. It hasn't healed up. He's like, "Hey, man, wake up!" And so he gets up after he almost levitates himself up. He doesn't like sit up and get up like the Undertaker. He just kind of like pulls himself up like Aleister Black does with the little pulley thing. Well, like when he comes up from the grave. If any of you guys watch NXT, just minus the whole little like board that pushes him up. He just does it himself. Anyway, so then he says, oh, greetings. I am from the Niflheim or Nimblum, whatever it was, clouds. And he just says, overall he's an alien. Josuke and Okuyasu just start laughing their asses off, and he's like, oh, this is the funniest prank ever. This is fucking awesome. This is hilarious, man. This is the best joke ever. And then Okuyasu says, my stomach hurts, I can't breathe. He then pulls out of his bag stomach medicines, hands her to Okuyasu, then they're right back to laughing their ass off, which I was laughing a little bit too. Not as hard as Josuke and Okuyasu, but I got a couple good chuckles out of this little scene right here. And he then says, here, friend, have a tissue. He's like, hey, because he says also, I'm here on Earth because my plan was destroyed, of course. And he's come here to check the livability of Earth as well as the amenity, I think he was also said, of the planet as well. So he's like, here, man, have tissue. I'm assuming that was meant for the blood, but he just looks at it, just eats it. And he's like, many things. That was quite palatable. And then Okuyasu's like, oh, look at the time, we should go, just go forward and leave for school. He's like, yeah, and so I like that we gotta get where they just jump cut to them pick up their bags and start walking. I like that they had a little bit of a record scratch in there. That was a nice little touch. I like that little record scratch. That was a nice little touch. Anyway, they head over to this ice cream shop on the way to school. It's closed. Uncle's like, no, this is the only thing that makes Monday mornings bearable. Well, man, there's nothing we can do about it. Let's just keep going. And he's like, do you guys want ice of the cream? And he's like, yeah. And then he just well, I have 2 in my bag, and he just hands the 2 over to them, and it's cold too. It's like, wait, man, how the hell did you get these, man? It's like, oh, what, is the cream not sufficient enough? It's like, that's not the point! And so then we start getting to the scene where Josuke and Okuyasu look like they're speaking telepathically. It looks like weirdly, because it straight up looks like they're speaking telepathically. At least for me, it looks like they're straight telepathically because they're not talking to each other. They're masturbating. It looks like they're straight talking telepathically. I don't know how this is possible. I don't recall any time they explained that stand users could use telepathy on each other and like talk to each other. It's the same thing happened to Dragon Ball Super when Goku was facing off against Frieza right before the Tournament of Power. If you guys saw my review of that episode, whenever it came out, I even talked about that. I was like, wait, are they speaking telepathically or something? So they're like, let's send him to the hospital. It's like, calm down, man. Let's think about it. Let's go my way, which is talk and not go straight to physicals. So he starts talking to him. He's like, okay, who are you? Really? He's like, that's strange. I recall I told you exactly who I was. And there's like, oh wait, are you an alien? He's like, yes. Yes, oh, that's what you meant. You want me to introduce yourself? Yes, I am indeed an alien. And yes, the dude is straight up an alien. JoJo is so bizarre, man. I mean, I know it's just called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but this is really bizarre, even by JoJo standards, to have fucking aliens in there. And he says, even you're like, oh, you must have a flying saucer that you can call upon at any time, right? It's like, yes, but it's at such a high altitude that would take 3 Earth days for it to come here. So you have to wait a while. So it's like, oh, you could call it up with that watch, right? He's like, yes, very astute observation. And so after that, we also, what else? I'm trying to remember. So in my mind, what else? Oh yeah, he says, do you got a ray gun or some anti-gravital device? He's like, yes, I have both. But since I am here, since that I indeed come in peace. He doesn't do the Star Trek thing, in case you're wondering. No, I come in peace while also doing the V thing. None of that, probably for legal reasons, because I don't think probably because they probably could do that legally as a Star Trek reference. Anyway, so, he says, I come in peace, and all of my shit. And he says, even your blood is bored. Yeah, all alien blood should be green. Which, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't that a reference to the Alien movies? Because their blood was acidic and it was green. Because I did not see any other Alien movies other than, like, The Thing. Even then, I'm pretty sure that alien's blood was red as well. That was green. I can only think of the Aliens movies. Correct me, so if this is a reference to some other alien horror franchise or alien movie franchise, tell me down below. But I'm pretty sure that's a reference to the Alien movies. Anyway. So after that, oh man. So after that, Okuyasu like, yeah, let's beat him up, let's go at him. He wants to just punch this guy. He's like, I was like, hey man, calm down. With that, we're gonna do this my way. He's like, nah man, let's just call him out and do it, tell it like it is. After that, this fire truck shows up, and and then the alien is like, ah! Like he's like the Venom symbiote, or I guess I should say the symbiotes in general, where they can't handle high frequencies. This alien's just like that, but he's like, his skin's turning red. These little, like, he has these little, pimples almost kind of things growing on skin. He's like, please stop it! I'm allergic to that wretched noise! As the fire trucks keep going, Okuyatsu's like, fuck this shit, I'm out. He leaves, leaving Josuke alone. He checks on the guy. Later on, he's like, please take me out of here. He ends up turning into, like, he's kind of like the Thing. For you guys that have seen John Carpenter's The Thing, or hell, even the original 50s, The Thing from Another World, where he could change his shape to anything he wants, or more than a T-1000. It's probably a better one to use, because he can't do high maintenance. He can't use highly complex machinery. Which is just like those T-1000, they couldn't form complex machines. This alien's just like that as well. And so he ends up just turning into sneakers and just tells him, like, take me out of here. Josuke jumps in the air and they make their way over to the school leading them, and then when they get to school, he ends up just he legit starts walking up the wall and goes straight to the roof. So then, to check whether or not this dude's actually a sand user, Josuke brings a shining diamond and is about to punch the dude, but stops like an inch or so away from his face, and he just kind of sits there not even being able to see shine diamond, which confirms that he did not indeed become a stand user when the arrow touched him. It just, because as it did, it was deflected. And so he's like, who are you? And he's like, I told you before, you're a stubborn one, I told you before, I'm an alien. And he says, I will do anything to help you after as paying as my thanks for, you helping me out. And he's like, look, and he's like, should I become a fan or should I become a back scratcher? And the top part of his head becomes a back scratcher. And it's like, well, should I become a back scratcher to, of course, help you out? Or should I become a back scratcher to, get those high to replay? He's like, listen, man, I didn't save you because I wanted something in return. And then he knows the message. He's like, but if you're offering a thanks, who am I to refuse? And it's like, you would become anything, right? Yes, but a complex machinery, or I forget what else it was. I think it was similar to why like the T-1000 couldn't become knives or stabbing weapons because of course it was a size difference. It was either complex machinery and like weapons. I think was all he could turn into. So he's like, hey, can you turn to dice? He explains how dice work, what they are, of course, the connection with games and everything. And he's like, alright, Rohan, I'm going to strap you for cash. Because, and we also find out what has happened with the money that Josuke got from the lottery. Apparently, after he won it, Okuya, his mom caught wind of it and ended up freezing his bank account. I don't know why she did that when he won the lottery. I don't know, because it was just use of money, she just didn't trust him with it. Or because she didn't think, or or was it possible for that he went to join the lot, before he went to check out to try his luck at the lottery. I don't know what it was, but whatever the case may be, yeah, I don't get it. I don't know what the hell was up with that. So they go to Rohan's place, and like I said, he's wearing even less clothes. Like this time, like last time, he was wearing a crop top. This time he's wearing a crop top with suspenders, but the top part of his shirt has holes in it all over the place. His sleeves got like a little cut around the top of it, but they're still kind of connected on both sides. And he's just like wearing next to no clothes on his, like the man's borderline shirtless at this point. Now, I won't lie, even though it looks kind of weird, it also looks kind of good at the same time. It actually looks kind of fashionable on Rohan, because in case you guys didn't know, Araki is actually kind of similar to Tite Kubo, the manga Bleach, which in case you guys didn't know from Bleach, Kubo actually originally wanted to become a fashion designer. That's why Bleach characters are always so fashionable, why they always look like they should be models and like some designer line of clothing. Seriously, if there was ever a Kubo line of design clothes, that's like the only thing designer clothes I would actually willingly spend my money on, because it's Kubo. And Araki, one of his main inspirations, if I remember correctly, in an interview he did with Viz Media that you can check out on their YouTube channel, was that he was actually inspired by this fashion designer that has since passed away. So it's probably whatever that fashion designer's designs were. It's probably influenced Araki with how JoJo characters dress. I mean, just look at Rohan's clothes. Even though I'm sure none of us would wear that stuff, it does low-key look pretty good on Rohan for some strange reason. And so he's like, hey man, he's like, hey Rohan, man, how's it hanging, bro? And he's like, what are you doing here, Josuke? He's like, and then he's like, tries like, oh man, I'm casting a new volume. He's like, why are you here? Because I've hated you from the moment you came here. He's like, alright, so then he gets down on his hands and knees, he's like, please Rohan, play CeeLo with me. He's like, I have hated you from the moment we got here, and I don't care, and why would I want to play CeeLo with you? But I'll do it. And he's like, alright, and he has these 3 dice with him, and he's like, come around back when you're ready. So they get around back, and he puts out the rules, and we have to find out why Rohan is playing CeeLo with Josuke. It's not just because he wants to play CeeLo with him, it's because he wants to take away the 30,000 yen, that's all he has left to his name, from Josuke. He wants to make sure the man is flat broke. And so that's why Rohan's playing him. So Rohan gets he's like, okay, and so he's about, and then Rohan tells Josuke that, oh yeah, we're not using your dice, because Josuke has some dice in his hand, and I was like, oh shit, And he's like, why? Don't you want to use my dice? He's like, oh, no reason. It's just a whim. I just want to use the dice that I found around my house. But then we find out that this is all according to Josuke's plan. Like, this is like, the episode almost goes straight up Death Note right here. Where actually the dice that Rohan found was actually the actual alien. They just put him in his house when he wasn't looking. And, you know, he's struggling not to laugh, just like L was, just like Light was, like the final episode of Dead Note when he thought he had Nier and he was finally going to win. You know, it kind of reminded me of that scene. And he's like, okay. So then he rolls, first off, after they roll to see who goes first. He rolls, ends up getting 3 6s, which is an omen, which means that he gets like, I think it was like double the earnings, I think it was. And then he's like, oh, and then Josuke's like, hey man, you know, don't go all the way out for that right now. Don't go all the way. It looks obvious. And so then Rohan plays, and he gets a 1, a 3, a 2, and a 3. I think was where it means. He put 5, which means Rohan put in 10 chips with 10,000 yen, and he rolled a 1, a 2, and a 3. I think it was, which means that he has to pay 5 times that earnings to Josuke. So he now owes, I think that's 15,000 yen. I think if my math's correct. And he's like, oh my god, it's going to be obvious at this point that, you know, there's something going on. Rohan's probably starting to pick up that Josuke's probably cheating. And we end the episode with like a little like stare down between the two. That I thought was a nice little end shot. Yeah. Overall, love this week's episode of JoJo. It was fucking phenomenal. The comedy was great there with the alien stuff, and I'm so hyped to see this battle of CeeLo between Josuke and Rohan. That's going to be hype, and I can't wait to and also just hear more of my man Vic Mignogna. Anyway. So overall, I give this week's episode a 10 out of 10, guys. So hope y'all enjoy the video. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, links down in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.